hard enough to set boundaries in business, but it's even harder when you're dealing with a passive aggressive person because they typically mask their thirst for dominance and control behind something that sounds neutral or innocent or even like a joke, or most often a question. It's called a controlling question. It's a question people ask not to try to get information from you, but to try to assert themselves as the interpretive authority in the conversation. And it might sound like this. If you're talking about politics, they'll say, well, how can you vote for such a terrible candidate? In that case, what do? Do you try to explain to them and educate them? No, because you've just submitted to their frame that the candidate you're voting for is terrible. Here's another example. How can you be married to such a self-centered person? Again, if you try to answer that question, you're accepting their frame that the person you're married to is self-centered. Or they might say something like, how can you be so careless? Again, if you try to answer it, they've immediately gained control. They're not really looking for information. They're looking for you to submit to their frame. So what do you do about this? You listen for the assumption inside their question, and you ask them what they mean by it. That exposes their agenda. For example, if they ask about the terrible candidate, you say, well, what do you mean by terrible candidate? And get them to explain themselves. Or if they talk about your spouse being self-centered, what do you mean by self-centered? Or if they say, how can you be so irresponsible? What do you mean by irresponsible? This exposes their frame and sets a boundary.